Happy Guam and USA. It's Josh Moffness, and I'm here to teach you how to make Chamorro stuffing. Very simple dish. It just takes a lot of ingredients and a little bit of patience. But if you miss that, or if you want to know how to make our Chamorro stuffing, then here we go. Here are your ingredients. I'm going to start with, you know how you have the pack of ground beef, you know, the mediocre pack. Look at me. The medium size pack, which is like this big, that's the ground beef size that I used for this. I went ahead and I browned my ground beef with the onions and garlic, with a little bit of salt, you know, not too much, but that's what we have right there. And also I have here my bread. I toasted one whole loaf to go with that pack of ground beef. So the one whole loaf, I toasted it in the oven and I chopped it up into about, you know, 1/2 inch pieces, and then I used, you know, this amount of potatoes, which is basically 7 potatoes. And I'm gonna ask my camera woman right now, because it's my wife actually today. That's why you gotta excuse today our camera person is not as, you know, high tech. Anyhow, how many potatoes did you use for this? 7? Okay, 7 potatoes. So you peel the potatoes and you want to dice them into about this size, and put them in a strainer so that way it, you know, it extracts all the oil from it, and then once you're ready to mix everything up together, that's you know, the whole goal. So aside from our ground beef, which is browned with onions and a little bit of garlic and salt, after we strain it, we go ahead and toast our bread, and we have here our, I'd say, 1/4 inch size pieces of toasted bread, our 7 potatoes for this amount of the stuffing. And you know, technically you just want to have this, you know, in your mindset. You know, if you do 1 loaf of bread, you want to do like a platter full of ground beef and about 7 potatoes. That's the average. So you dice it and you fry it. You fry the potatoes till they become cooked after you dice them, and once they, you know, have come to that point where they're cooked, you have to strain the oil out. The next thing I have here is I used about 3 sweet pickles, which I diced, and I'm getting ready to throw those in. I'm using about 1.5 cups of raisins here. If you don't like raisins or you don't like sweet, then you don't have to use the raisins, but you know, if you want authentic Chamorro stuffing, you would want to use the raisins. I also minced up some olives to go with that, about 1 can, and then also 1 jar of pimentos. My ingredient here, which is going to soften the stuffing, is condensed carnation milk, I'm sorry, by Nestle, and then my last liquid additive is going to be applesauce. So let's get this started. I'm going to go ahead and throw my ground beef in here over the bread. I washed my hands already, I promise. I'm going to spread this on out over. And why don't you, do you know how to zoom in? Can you zoom in a little bit? Okay? Alright, so we have that going, right? And then I'm going to throw my potatoes over. Get that spread all over. Okay. Get the sweet pickles to spread all over. My olives, spread that over. My pimentos, spread that on out. My raisins, spread it on out. And then my applesauce. Okay, here we go. Alright. Let me wipe my hands. There's also that, so it's kind of palaxy. Okay. Difficulties, technical difficulties. Okay, got it. Now I'm not going to use the whole jar. I'm going to use about half. So I'm stopping it about halfway through. And then I'm going to throw 1 whole can of carnation milk over this. And yeah, looks like a whole lot, but trust me, 1 can is good. And if you're making like a stuffing of this size of a pan, all the additives are going to blend in perfectly. So let me begin to do this. To lacquer this with my Chamorro hands here. Mind you, we are going to throw this into the oven so that it can cook. Our bread is still hard, and the whole point of us adding the applesauce and the carnation milk is to, to sort of allow the ingredients to absorb the liquid to soften the bread and to come up with that texture that, that we are all used to at Chamorro functions. So, good job tonight, babe, on the camera. What do you mean? Everyone watching knows both you and I, pretty much. If not, then, then there you go. But, if you can zoom into this and have them take a look at this. As you can see, I'm starting to mend all the ingredients that we added tonight into sort of a stuffing. And as you can see, I only added half the applesauce because once I mixed it, we're still going to be lacking a little bit of liquid to go into that. So I'm going to add the rest of my jar of applesauce into this. And then I'm going to mix the rest into it. And once I have my stuffing mixed into a sort of a paste, you're going to see that it's going to look sort of like meatloaf looking. You're going to be able to put it together into like a big mush. And then the whole point in that is you're going to put it into a meatloaf, wrap it in foil, and bake it for about 45 minutes at about 325 or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is the finished product before I meatloaf it. If you can zoom into this, babe, for a minute and take a look how it looks. And then what I'm going to start doing right now is I'm going to form two meatloaf looking portions here out of this real quickly. And I was always taught to move quickly, so here we go. And I'm gonna get my foil ready. After that, and stay tuned for what the finished product looks like. So once again, I'm just going to wrap this meatloaf looking stuffing thingamajig into a piece of foil. I'm going to make 2 loaves, and once it's done cooking, you'll see the end result via pictures. And thank you for tuning in and learning how to make Chamorro stuffing. Thank you very much.